How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing. So the other day I was on Facebook, okay, just scrolling through my feed and stuff, and I don't know if Facebook tied into TikTok or whatever, but they show a lot of TikTok videos on Facebook now. And one of the videos that kept occurring on my feed, which I thought was kind of interesting, was a video where they show you how to do spreadsheets. Like the scenario is that your boss wants to do something like calculate, the average earnings for everybody, or alphabetize all the names, or remove all the spaces and everything else. And they want it by the end of the day. And so then the video proceeds to show you, hey, just me. The video proceeds to show you how you can do it in like a few minutes. And then, so which is cool. They show you that, like, if you wanted to delete spaces, you could highlight all the cells and then put in a formula to remove the spacing. Because if you had to do it by hand, it would take all day. Or the same with calculating somebody's paycheck for the week or whatever. You had their base pay, how many hours they worked, and how much they're supposed to make, for the week. And the video would show you how to do it with the formula, which means you could do that stuff in like 1 or 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes at the most, because that's what the power of a spreadsheet is. But the problem I had with it was the scenario was that the worker was given that assignment by their boss, and the boss says, have this pay, and then the worker does that, in minutes, but then they sit around all day and goof off. They don't send it to us till 5 minutes before the end of the workday. And some of you might not think there's anything wrong with that, but to me, that's like a breach of work ethics. You're making something take long that doesn't really take that long. Now, I noticed, a lot of this seems to be happening on social media, and they're getting like millions of views, which I think is good because it shows, it helps the kids become tech savvy, so they know how the stuff works. And I'm looking at it, but the message they're sending, I'm like, are they trying to teach the kids how to do the spreadsheet stuff, the formulas? Or are they trying to show the kids how to waste your time, company's time, and, do something that takes 5 minutes, take all day? And I don't think it's just a new thing with social media, because I remember watching the movie Big. How many of you have the movie Big with Hanks? Do you remember that scene where Tom Hanks, well, let me just recap for those of you who don't know the movie. In the movie Big, Tom Hanks is like a little 13-year-old kid, and he's short, because kids in adolescence, they're at different heights, but Tom is short, and he has this crush on this girl, okay, who's about his age, and, he's small for his age. So he wants to get to know this girl. She seems to kind of like him, but he bumps into her at the amusement park, and they're standing in line to go on this ride. And I have those little monkeys that have their hand out saying you have to be this high, you got to be this tall, you got to be this big before you can get on the ride. So he's talking with the girl, and she says, wow, this is a scary ride. Have you been on it before? And he's like, no, I've done it lots of times. This isn't scary at all. So he's trying to impress this girl, okay? He gets up to the front of the line, and she's like right behind him. And he goes up to the thing, and the ride guy says, you're too small, you're too short. You can't ride this ride. It's like a really embarrassing situation for him, okay? So, he's all sad, and he wanders off, and he sees a Zoltan fortune teller machine, and, he decides to make a wish, and his wish was to become big. And sure enough, the next morning, and he wakes up and he's big, but not like big in size. He's big as in grown up. So he's a 13-year-old boy now trapped inside a grown man's body. And, the adventure takes him into the city because, his mom freaks out, thinks that he's been kidnapped, because doesn't recognize him as a grown-up. And so he has to kind of sneak off and he goes to the city and has to learn how to get a job and all that. And he does all that, and he gets a job. He's a computer nerd in a computer department. And the scene always struck me like, but it's true, because I've worked in American businesses and stuff, and this is what's sad about it. So he goes and he works in the data processing department, and he sits down to do the data processing. He's going through it really fast. And the guy next to him says, "Hey, dude, slow down. You're making us all look bad." So Josh, the dude, Tom Hanks, he has to learn to slow down his work. Because if you get done too fast, everybody else looks bad. But I'm thinking about it, and I was like, I think this might be an American thing. Because I think in Asia, you're not taught to waste the boss's time or your time. You do it how long it takes. And if it takes longer, you let them know it's going to take longer. If you can do it faster, you get done and you say, "Do you have anything else you need done?" And then you go about and you do more work. You don't sit there and say, "Well, I can get this done in 5 minutes, but I'm going to take 8 hours because the boss didn't ask for it till 5. And, I've noticed on social media, they're pushing that. Like with all these jobs, they're like, well, it's like if something takes you only 5 minutes, but they're expecting it to take longer, you act like it takes longer. And then you goof off the rest of the time or you do something else. And I think that's kind of sad, that people fall into that trap of saying, "You know what? We can take advantage of our employers. We can choose not to. We can choose to do it fast, but then just waste our time and go on TikTok, watch TikTok videos all day, or whatever, and then turn it in at the last minute. And of course, the boss will be pleased because it get done by the end of the day, and then you had all day to goof off, and they paid you to sit there and goof off all day." And I'm thinking to myself that they're boasting about this, they're bragging about it and saying you should do this. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you're teaching people to not have any ethics. And once you cross that line and you think it's normal behavior or acceptable behavior, you're lost. Because if you're able to do something and it's not that hard, you probably shouldn't make it seem like it's hard. I know I've gone to jobs and stuff where I was a computer tech, a repair guy. And the other repair dudes would try to say, "Don't show people how to do it because you'll work yourself out of a job. You won't have a job anymore." And I'm like, if it's that easy, people should learn how to do it. And then, maybe we don't need this job. Maybe we should do something else, consult or something, make more money. Not sit here and get paid, technician pay to repair something that people can figure out. But I always try to share information and knowledge because I think it's beneficial to everybody, to mankind, to other people that learn this stuff. But when you make it seem like it's complicated, I guess for some people, to me, it's almost like a scam. It's like fixing the lawnmower. One of my more popular videos is, how I fixed the lawnmower just by tilting it upside down, dumping the gas out, and putting in new gas. Even the old gas, I just filtered it and cleaned it, and it worked. That video was popular because it saved people a lot of money and a lot of headache and a lot of time. And it was a really simple fix that anybody could do. All you had to do was dump out the gas. Whereas a lawnmower repair dude might get angry at me because he says, "Look, you just took away my customer. I could have charged him $50-$60 for that." I'm like, dude, you're going to charge someone $50 or $60 when they can just tilt it upside down and clean it themselves. You're not a repairman. You're a scam artist, dude. I think it's because of my upbringing with my parents, but also even my jobs. When I worked at Beach Computers, Bill, my boss at Beach Computers, he used to teach me that we don't, just because you can do something, because we know what we're doing, we don't charge a lot of money if it's something simple. And, like, for example, somebody brings in a computer and they say it doesn't work. Those of you who are technicians or IT guys, this. The computer doesn't work. I turn it on, it doesn't come on. And then, an unscrupulous repair dude will charge him 50 to 100 bucks to repair it. Me, as soon as I get it, I said, did you plug it in? Did you plug the power in? They go, oh, have a good day now. I don't charge him any money for that. But that's how I operate. And those are the kind of people I like operating with, because they don't BS you, they don't rip you off. That's why I liked Express Tech Auto. They were like that, They didn't rip you off on your car repairs and stuff. If it was a simple fix, they charged you for a simple fix. If it was something that was going to be more involved, they let you know before they did the work, because it may not be worth it to fix an old car. But, I hate companies and people who scam other people. And it's like, I don't know how they can sleep and live with themselves. Because it's making you a scam artist, when you do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was really shocked that kind of stuff was being shown all over TikTok. I was pleased that they were showing the technology. I was like, wow, the spreadsheet really makes it easy to do all this stuff. But the message behind it was, lie to your boss and make it seem like it took all day when it was a 3-minute job. Now, I think if you do it in 3 minutes, your boss should commend you, maybe give you a raise. And they maybe give you more work. But, they should also increase it with your pay and stuff. Not just give you more work and not give you increased pay. Because if they do that, you should just quit that job. Because that job sucks. Like, well, no, I'm just going to sit there and take all day and waste my time doing that job and get paid, whatever that boss is paying. I'm like, then you're only hurting yourself, because you deserve better. You deserve to work in a place where they appreciate you and your knowledge and your skills and your honesty and your ethics. You should not work in a place where you have to pretend to be dumber than you are, where you have to pretend to be slower than you are and less capable than you really are. And if you have to do that to work at that place, you don't belong there. That place doesn't deserve you. You could do better. Now, if you're stuck there because you think that, you can't get a better job, well, it's because of your mentality, You need to realize that you should always put forth your best effort, at least possible, for that moment. Because sometimes, people are feeling sick or whatnot and not, having issues at the house or at the home and stuff, and you're not always 100% performing. But at the same time, in normal circumstances, you should always be putting forth your best foot, I guess, whether it be at work or at home, in life, how you treat people, how you deal with people. If you have to pretend that you're less capable than you are, then you're in the wrong job, or you're working for the wrong people. Really, seriously. Just something to think about. I'm going to take a moment here to read your comments and see what you guys say, but I see a lot of people here. Let me just call out just me, Alicia, T. Lee, and Destiny. Lost Cosmonaut. Woohoo! Yeah, Lost Cosmonaut says that, the regulars get mad when the temps come in and work really fast. I'm like, you regulars are idiots. You really should be working harder and maybe demanding more pay. And if they say, well, take your time, I'm of the type that if I work fast and they don't have any additional work for me, they shouldn't get mad if I sit around, if that's all they're willing to pay for. Like if they say you need to sort this stuff by the end of the day and I sort it, at a certain pay rate, that's fine. I should be allowed to go home early, if you don't have any more work for me. Don't make me pretend that I'm working or act dumber than I really am. If that's the kind of people you want, then that's the kind of people you attract. Now, city workers sometimes have that, government workers. I think it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs when people have to pretend to be less capable than they are. That's how countries fall behind other countries. Your culture tells you you should slow down because you're making everyone else look bad. Maybe everyone else needs to speed up. Or maybe they need to give me a raise because I'm doing the work of 5 people. Poor Michaela. Is it Michaela? Michaela? I am so sad for you. He says it's 8 o'clock in the evening over there in Germany, and it's -7 with the wind chill. I think. No, no, it's -7, but with the wind chill, it's even colder than that. Here I am in a t-shirt. You know, the thing is, Michael, I remember when I used to live in Germany when my dad was in the military and we were there, and I remember it would be 35 degrees Fahrenheit, in Germany, which here in Florida, 35 degrees would make me like freezing cold with mucklucks and parkas and thick mittens and everything else. But I remember in Germany at 35 degrees, I was outside in a t-shirt. It's weird. 35 degrees now that I'm in Florida, when it drops to, like, this morning, it was like 58, 59. I think I have a slight cold because of the temperature. It's like 58, 59, and I had a cold. Right now, it's 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, T. Lee and Dusty is reminding everybody that really is Renegade Ramblin' Van Man. And Last Correspondent says there is a strong union mentality at the city-run jobs. I think in some ways unions are good because they help to promote, adequate pay and stuff. But in some ways, I think it's bad if they promote being lazy. I think it hurts. It hurts the economy. It hurts the company. And more importantly, I think it hurts the people, your own self-esteem, your own worth. If you know that you can do better, but you're throttling down because of pressure from a group, because they're all lazy bums who ride off other people's backs, what have you done to yourself? I can't really work in an environment where they tell me to dumb myself down or to do less than I can do. And if the other people get mad at me and stuff, that's on them. They might get mad and take it out on me and stuff, and I'm like, dude, your parents obviously didn't raise you right, you know. I don't complain about you being slow. I don't complain about whatever you do. So get off my back. I do what I do because that's how I was raised, you know. I always do the best that I can. It doesn't mean I'm the best, but it means I do my best given, whatever circumstances. I don't sit there and try to ride other people's coattails. I don't do that because it's a reflection on me. It's -7 degrees in Germany. Whew. 18 degrees in Ohio. So even in America, I feel sorry for you Northerners. I feel really sad. It's like I can go to the beach right now, which I might. Maybe I'll broadcast from the beach, just not to rub it in, but to give you a little bit of Florida sunshine. You'll be at the beach in Florida and you'll see all these people with parkas and stuff on because it's 70 degrees out here right now. Hello, Shalom. Looking for answers. -7. Shalom had a granddad who was actually a Holocaust survivor. It's a sad time and a sad place to be, at the time. It just shows you the mentality of what can happen to people when they follow blindly, It's hard to believe that people behave like that, but it's just almost like the same mentality as the people who don't push their hardest and do the work and stuff because they let other people dictate. It's like that saying that people are sheeple. I think it's like that. People are conditioned to follow, which is kind of sad. In some ways, it has to do with survival because, like it or not everyone has the same level of intelligence or the same ability to process situations. So sometimes those with less intelligence or less ability to figure things out survive by following those who know more. The problem is when they survive, they think they're surviving by following someone who knows less or knows the wrong thing. then they get mentally controlled. I think that's happening a lot lately, especially with social media and even YouTube to an extent. YouTube is also social media, but um, it's like the little things like the TikToks and stuff, which go really fast because I guess people don't have attention spans anymore. But the messages they convey on there, even though sometimes they have knowledge, I mean real knowledge, but then they convey that you should cheat and lie and act like you're lazy or act like it was harder than it is. I think that's conveying the wrong message. You're teaching people how to be less effective as a human. So just something to think about for those of you who are in those kind of situations. I guess you got to make your own decisions and choices, but I would tell you this: if you have to compromise your ability to be you, your ability to shine in order to please the other people around you, it may not be the best place to be. And if the other people around you don't like how shiny you are, instead of wanting to learn from you, then that's on them. If you can help and you decide to help them, they should be appreciative of that. If they're lazy and they don't want to work and stuff, that's on them. It's not on you. Even though they're trying to make you feel bad. Hey, I'm sorry that you are a lazy bum. I don't want to be a lazy bum like you, so stop trying to tell me how to be a lazy bum. Maybe you should get off your ass and work. All right, everybody, I'm going to sign out. Mo Banks says he's so glad he's retired, not working, deal with the BS at work. Union is there to protect the lazies, in my opinion. Yeah, I think to an extent, but they did try to protect me when I was a mail carrier. You know how it goes, Mo Bang. You were a mail carrier. I was only a CCA, and you can see how the way the supervisors and the managers and stuff are in the post office. I think you really need the union. Although the union has some weird, crazy stuff too about it. How it's kind of unfair the way they do stuff for the union president. But I remember, they got me in trouble because of my auto accidents and stuff. And they did not tell the union. They kept me from telling the union. Then they went behind the scenes, the supervisors and stuff, and set me up to get fired. And then the union found out about it, and they tried to put in an appeal or whatever, but it was too late. They have all those things that they had negotiated with the union, how many days you have for an appeal and all this other stuff. So they set the paperwork and all that to get me fired and didn't notify anyone in the union. I didn't know to notify the union. I was a CCA, even though I was a part of the union. I didn't know I was supposed to tell the union rep because they would come up and fight for me. But I didn't know. And management didn't tell me. They took advantage of it. So I can understand, but I also know like the teachers union, I thought that was bullshit. And I quit the teachers union because I was like, in Florida, teachers are not allowed to go on strike. Okay? Teachers have no power because they're not allowed to go on strike. So you join the union, and the union doesn't do jack shit. The union sides with the administrators, and then the union boss, the president or whatever, gets extra pay, gets extra income, and also the privileges and stuff. And then what happened was the union, when they didn't agree with the school board, the superintendent and the school board and all those people, the union president or rep said, hey, we don't agree with it, so I'm going to pass a petition for all the teachers to sign that says the teachers do not agree with what they're saying, what their policy is, what they're passing down for this next round of whatever, And I said, and then what happens? And he told me, nothing. I'm like, so you want all the teachers to come over here to your office or your classroom or whatever and sign this stupid piece of paper that gets handed to the school board, and they can just ignore it. Uh-huh. Like, what good are you? You're useless. Why am I paying, I think it was like 40 or 60 bucks a month for you to represent me, and all you can do is sign a piece of protest paper that has no strength? I said, we should all go on strike. And they said, Denoy, teachers can't go on strike in Florida. I said, no, but we could all call in sick. I have 14 sick days. Can you imagine if all the teachers in Florida all suddenly got, because I said, this policy and whatever they're passing here is making me sick. So sick that I think tomorrow I won't be coming into work. I feel that sick. And I think any other teachers here who don't agree with this policy would be feeling sick too, probably so sick that they cannot come in. We're not on strike. We're just taking our sick day off. How long? We don't know, because it depends on how sick we feel until the situation is rectified. And then, well, we can't do that. And I'm like, you're useless. I quit the union. Hey, you got to make your stand. And if you're a union and you're fighting for your union reps and not for yourselves, then you need to fight. And, you know, they have the rule about no, and I think it's a bullshit rule in Florida. Teachers can't go on strike. Okay, don't go on strike. I'll call in sick. Just scrolling through here. See, an old lady says union did help. I think unions, based upon you know how minimum wage and stuff hasn't kept up with the cost of living, unions I think are required, are important. You know, I used to be anti-union because I thought, you know, they protected the lazy and stuff like a lot of people do. But when I look at how little the wages, the living wages have gone up, you know, but the cost of living has gone up, but people are getting paid less. They're getting paid more, but it's worth less. You know, so like, you know, $3 back in 1970 was a lot of money. Probably worth like $30 now, you know. So, like a house, I think back in the 1970s or 60s, you could buy a house for, I think, like $10,000 or less. A brand new house. I know the mobile home I'm in, I think it sold for like $2,000 or $3,000 when it was brand new. Maybe $5,000 at the most. You know, so money was worth a lot more back then. So even the low pay was worth a lot of money. But the price of housing, cars, food, everything has gone up, but the wages haven't kept up. And, you know, union workers tend to do better. But even those, you know, like the automotive union, they all kind of fell apart, you know. The business went under. And maybe they did that on purpose. When I say they, I'm talking about the business owners, the companies, the corporations. Because they figured that's one way to take out the union. You know, let's just let it go. We'll get a bailout from the government and we'll start over with no union. All right, Michael, I hope you can stay warm, manage to stay warm. I will be thinking of you today, especially if I'm on the beach. All right, listen, I'm going to sign out. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe wherever you are. And if you're ever in a situation where you have to decide, you know, about your own ethics and doing things to appease the others around you, even though it's actually producing below your own standards or your own capabilities, that you really think about this video. Because if once you start doing that, you're basically making yourself worth less than you are. You know, by shining and being yourself, that's the person you are. So don't be afraid. So until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Please stay safe. And Michaela, I hope you stay warm. Bye-bye now.